What is up, guys? We are back with episode 24 today, and I've held this one off from Adam. We've only just been chatting off air for a couple of moments, but I just want to start by saying we have officially surpassed 200 followers on Spotify. So a massive, thank you to everyone first and foremost. Like, not only off the back of the last two episodes have we had heaps of really nice feedback, because obviously they have been a couple of, I suppose, difficult or more difficult episodes, given that both of us are kind of going through a bit of a transition with training and racing. So the fact that we've had such good feedback around that kind of more candid insight into what's going on means the world to us. So firstly, just a thank you very much to everyone that's listened and followed recently. Means the world. And yeah, look, we're back, and it's been a while, Adam. I just kind of was thinking about this before we started recording, that we haven't really done weather updates. And I think before we go into how we've both been doing on a personal level, we can see that clearly the weather, it's turning, and we are recording at a slightly different time. So, mate, how's it been? How's it going over there in Ireland? What's the weather doing? What's the crack?
The crack's good, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, the crack is good, and great to see you again. We're recording at a different time. You can probably see if you're watching. I'm a little bit weary. Definitely need the coffee that's sitting beside me. I'm just out of my bed, and 6 o'clock in the morning, so things are good. The weather, definitely pretty dark outside still. I think even on the camera it looks lighter than what it actually is, but bit chillier. Weather's still good though. It's not it hasn't gone too far south, but kids are back to school next week. Kira's back to school actually Tuesday coming, so summer holidays are coming to an end, and that spells the start of autumn, which is always a nice season. So yeah, the weather has definitely turned. I think it's given. I've got my jacket laid out for social run here this morning when we finish up, so I'll probably need that for the park. But no, everything else is good, mate. What about you? How's the weather where you are?
Weather's doing really surprisingly good for me, but I just want to say it goes so quick, that summer holiday. Like, that, what's it, 6 weeks the kids get off, and Kira's already going back to school. That has like literally flown by, because it feels like only yesterday that we were talking about planning for that, and now it's nearly been and gone. That is pretty wild, isn't it?
I think it's 7 weeks here. I think England, it's 6. They finish up a bit later in England. Here they finish up like right at the end of June. But Kira's had quite a long holiday actually, because just depending on whatever school you're teaching in, a lot of the schools and teachers that I know went back actually this week. But Kira's not back until Tuesday, so she's got a nice long holiday in comparison to some. But you're right, mate, it absolutely flies by, doesn't it? It's unreal.
We got done dirty then, us kids in England, with only 6 weeks. There's poverty numbers there.
It's a bit different in England. You know what? You don't really, because you get a shorter summer, but you get like 2 weeks at Easter. A lot of kids here just get one, and then the holidays are just more split. Because I know when I did the teaching, when I did my PGCE in Liverpool, the year was like split up into really even chunks. So I think every time you just go and you teach for 6 weeks, and then you're off for at least a week. So it's 6 weeks off a week, 6 weeks off a week. Whereas here, some of the half terms are longer than 6 weeks from memory. Like, I know that I think it's the January till Easter half term here can be really, really long. Whereas it's always just 6 weeks in England, as far as I can remember. So hope I haven't butchered that. But in terms of days in and days off, I think they get pretty similar.
It's pretty crazy. All right,
shorter summer.
I feel a little bit better there.
Yeah, I think Australia's probably the same. Like, my best mate Oren, he teaches in Australia, and his holidays, whilst like the summer holidays at Christmas time are shorter, I think they're chunked up more, so you kind of still get a lot of days off, but just split up across the year a bit more. This has turned into
school holiday chat with Luke and Adam.
Didn't expect it. Yeah, someone actually gave me. I must give Julia a shout out. Someone from my own coaching group. She said that last week. She said we just chatted about football a little bit too much.
Ooh, I disagree. I got a taste of being a football podcast. We were talking about this. It's like every British and Irish, I think a lot of, I speak for every British person, but every British person, and I'm guessing a lot of Irish people, like dream of having a football podcast where you basically talk with the bros about football for like an hour a week. That'd be fantastic. But Julie, I'm sorry.
Just like life, isn't it?
It just happened. Yeah, it's just a thing.
I know. I was listening back. I was actually just listening back yesterday, and I was hearing us talk about Isaac going on strike and all sorts, and I was like, geez, it actually does sound like a football podcast.
We could go into depth as well. Like British and Irish males often know a little bit too much about football and probably not
Spend
about
too much time on Twitter, mate.
Twitter or I'm trying to think where I get my football information. I listen to a lot of football podcasts. In all fairness, like a lot of listening material. But yeah, we're just pissing Julie off here, aren't we? She's gone.
Do you follow?
Shit.
Yeah, I assume you follow Fabrizio Romero.
Of course, Fabrom is my
Romano. Sorry,
is my guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he?
He's fantastic. I mean, everything Chelsea's gone a little bit cold at the minute, so we're really just waiting for doors to open. But yeah, for a Liverpool fan, it's been pretty okay. But look, we should move on and maybe come back to
digress, football. We'll not spend too much time
towards the end.
Chat.
But yeah, back to the weather.
Just tuning out before we even get started.
100%. Sorry. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Welcome to Flow State. We're actually going to talk about some running now after the weather briefly. But as you can see, we're peak winter and it's been super cold in the morning. We've had a couple of like freezing mornings. But then randomly this week, we've got up to kind of the late teens and 20s today. And I was just jumping ahead a bit. I was on my bike in my, in the garage, and I have the garage shutter open. And I was literally just in my bib. I had to take the t-shirt off and I was like, I'm hot. It is warm. But it's just that feeling that spring is around the corner. I mean, Australian spring, I should say. This isn't British spring. It'd be a little bit colder. But I feel like those 20-degree days are only a few weeks away. So it's pretty fantastic. And even I've had a couple of runs this week, and one of them was just a touch warmer than I'm used to, and I could see my heart rate was going up. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to start getting acclimated to the heat again, because I'm still in kind of like winter mode, because it transitions so quick, right? Like you'll literally have a week where it's 2 degrees, highs of 6. The next week it's day starts at 2 degrees and you're up to 20 and you need to be wearing the factor 50. So it's been wild, but as a whole, I've been kind of, pretty okay. I think it's go.
It's got to be the best time of year, hasn't it? Whenever that I think we've talked about this before maybe, but see when that weather just starts to change a bit, it's the best. I love that feeling.
You can feel it in the air as well. It's like everyone's kind of like, there's a little bit of static energy and everyone's like, oh,
that's the buzz. Yeah, that's the buzz. That's class, mate. Do you know what? I actually love winter as well. I love getting the big puffer coat on me and the woolly hats and everything
winter
else.
Fashion.
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind it. And plus, whenever you're kind of finished up for the day, you kind of like, everyone goes into a bit more of a hibernation mode. I know, like by the middle of winter, like come like January, everyone's like sick of it. But I suppose Christmas breaks it up nicely. But yeah, I actually do enjoy that kind of routine of, like, when you're finished up work for the day, if you've trained or whatever you've done, you kind of just get in, you get home, get the dinner in, and you just chill out for the evening. You know, there's not much else to do, and it's kind of nice as well. It's a nice time of year. And you've got Christmas as well, which is always special here in Ireland. Because it's what I would call proper Christmas.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about Christmas just yet. We're only in August.
It's a little bit premature, mate.
But yeah, I don't dread the winter. You know, I kind of do. I kind of do like it as well.
I find it worse here in Melbourne winter. That is because we don't associate it with Christmas. Like, at least in the UK and I'm sure Ireland as well. Like, the weather starts turning like Christmas is only a few months away, whereas here it's like you couldn't be further from Christmas. So the weather's turning shit, and you can't even look forward to your Christmas dinner. It's not a great situation. The only thing that I live off is nostalgia. So as soon as we get to Christmas, winter, it reminds me of Christmas. So I'm living off the feeling, but you don't get. It's like a bit of a tease.
It's not
because
real. Yeah,
it's not real. But yeah, that's that's just how it is here in Australia. They got it dirty, man, when you come to think of it, about kind of those polarized seasons. But look, man, we've actually been now talking about the weather and football for 10 minutes. So
I
I
know.
want to hear about some
Let's move on.
trainings. Like,
Yeah.
just maybe recap where we were at the end of the week last week in terms of the decision making, and then we can touch base as to where training's been.
Yeah, cool. So, like I said last week, pulled the pin on races going forward for now, to kind of pivot and change direction temporarily. So I'm going to go back and play some football. I've made that decision, but the body kind of needs to be in a place where it's going to allow for that, because my tendons, my ligaments have become so deconditioned to the demands of being on a football pitch. It's unbelievable. Like, it really is unbelievable. So there's going to be a little bit of work involved with that. I'm actually seeing Frank, the physio, Frank McCartan, a guy that I've known for a good while now, and he's going to help me out with some stuff. So he's absolutely brilliant. I've coached Frank for a while as well. He's actually running, and shout out to everyone actually that's running Antrim Coast this weekend, half marathon. We've got loads of runners in our coaching group that are running in Antrim this weekend. Really good, really strong half marathon. So good luck to anyone. Well, by the time this comes out, they'll be finished. But Frank, along with many others, are racing there this weekend. So good luck to them. So he's going to help me out with some kind of return to play, get the body back to just, I guess, getting some strength in the body to handle the demands of playing some football again. So seen him earlier in the week, and we're actually going to do a little bit of pitch work at some stage today, just to kind of hopefully start prepping the body a bit more. But last Friday we had the Sela Social Run, which we actually covered on last week's episode, and then the rest of the afternoon / evening was a rest. So Friday typically now is going to be, especially if I'm going to be playing on a Saturday, a Friday is very much going to be a recovery or an activation kind of day, but mostly just recovery. Last Saturday morning then, I ran 10 miles, 1 hour 15, 7:35 per mile. Sunday, I actually headed over to the gym, and again, just like getting up in the morning and kind of doing what I want, and just what I choose. So I jumped on the elliptical actually, and did 6 times 5 minutes at sort of threshold.
Is that heart rate threshold, or you're not just trying to play to heart rate in terms of the elliptical, right?
Yep. It's heart rate threshold. I wasn't. I didn't take the. Do you mean as opposed to actually using the lactate meter?
Oh, anything else? Even looking at, I don't know if some ellipticals give you pace. Like mine is very basic.
This one, no, these ellipticals actually are really good. They do give you pace, but I didn't really use it. I just used heart rate. The reason for that, and I was looking at pace and how it correlated with heart rate. And it's the elliptical. What I found with the pace, it's quite similar to like the bike. Whenever you put more power through it, obviously the pace increases, the speed increases. But then, kind of like what I was feeling with it was like time to fatigue was like exponentially increasing, while heart rate might only have been jumping up like only a slight bit. Sure, so you know how when you increase your speed and when you run, the heart rate jumps up quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want to almost say like the best way to compare it is like per minute mile, the heart rate was jumping less on the elliptical, similar to the bike, but the perception of effort was jumping up much more. I think it's because there's not, when you run, there's obviously the impact of the ground, whereas when you cycle the elliptical, the machine is taking care of the efficiency part. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I think it's also muscular fatigue starts to take more of it, whereas if you run harder, it's like the muscles don't necessarily get that much more work, because you almost like are using, they're already being worked enough. Yeah, and you're kind of using your elasticity, whereas on a bike and on an elliptical, if you push harder, you're actually getting more like acute muscular fatigue, if that makes sense. So it's like it feels harder because you're getting more, what is that, lactate burn in the legs, as opposed to
hope we're not butchering that.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty right. Pretty okay.
Yeah. So I did an hour in total. I did like maybe a 10, maybe a 10-minute warm up and 10-minute cool down. Um, 6 times 5 minutes off a minute. Sorry, I actually would have done a slightly longer warm up and cool down. But no, that was actually quite good. I really enjoyed it, and jumped in the sauna for 20 minutes afterwards
Nice.
for some heat, which was cool. And just for reference, got very hot very quick because the body was already very warm coming off the elliptical. Then Monday morning, I rested. Myself and Kira actually went out for a pretty long walk. One of them ones where you just go out and kind of don't stop. We just walked for, a couple of hours actually, and um, ended up heading down to Mum's for a bite of lunch. So that was Monday. Tuesday, I actually did a double session on Tuesday. I ran 9 miles progressive in the morning. So I just headed out with no plan. Started on the grass actually, and ran like a 650 mile, a 647 mile, and then got out onto the roads and just progressed down and actually finished with a 5:55 minute mile. That was 9 miles, and then I just jogged home for 2 miles. So that was actually an 11-mile run, which was actually great because those progression runs where you just run on feel are class. And then in the evening, I jumped into the gym again. I must have been at a loose end this evening because I've went over to the gym. So if I don't, I've just, I don't know, I must have been bored or something. But I got over onto the elliptical again and did like 3 by 10 minutes at kind of that low end or aerobic threshold. Again,
What's your rest
40,
time on these elliptical sessions?
this one was 90 seconds between reps.
Are you just
So
like
the other,
cruising or stopping completely?
no, I was just cruising.
Mhm.
So just like not putting any power through it, but continuing to move.
Yep.
I'm not changing the. Also, when I rest on the elliptical, I wasn't changing the
Resistance.
setting. The resistance, that's the word, mate. I love whenever you fill in or finish give me the right words to
Sentences.
say. Yeah, sentences. You did it last week a couple of times, and I was very
Man,
grateful for it.
I've got you.
Yeah. So the Sundays one, the 6 times 5 minutes was off a minute. The 10-minute one was off 90 seconds. Again, recoveries are just for me a feeling based thing. Generally speaking, the longer the reps, the slightly longer recoveries. Of course, it depends on the intensity as well. But these reps were actually at that more aerobic threshold. So the heart rate was kind of in the reps, it was kind of getting up to about 145, which is like my low end threshold, or within that sort of low end threshold zone, just above it. Whereas the 6 times 5 minutes, it was getting right up to my lactate threshold, or just below it, like a couple of beats below it. So, that was Tuesday. Was a pretty big day all up, and I've just noted here that I jumped in the sauna again after that one. So anytime I get into the gym, it's always great to jump in the sauna afterwards because you can do your session, get in the sauna, get washed up, get changed, and come home, and you've session all done, and you're clean and washed and everything else. So I always like that.
Question just around the elliptical, because obviously I'm doing a couple of sessions a week, and I'm having to finish off a few of my runs with the elliptical. How long do you find it takes quite a while to get your heart rate up, even to just what is a warm up heart rate on a normal run? And B, would you kind of use heat for your elliptical sessions? Like, would you layer up to help get your heart rate up quicker?
To answer your first question, no, I don't think it for me, it doesn't take very long. I can get it up pretty quickly if, just pretty much as quickly as a run session. And the body probably gets warmer quicker too on the elliptical because one, it's warmer in the gym, but two, you're not I just find the body just switches on a little bit quicker on the elliptical because of the efficiency is kind of already taken care of with the machine. So to answer that question, no. To answer your second question, no, I'm not using heat at all. For me, life's too short for that. I'm not a pro athlete. I'm not chasing anything crazy. So I'm just there to enjoy myself and feel good, So no, I'm not doing any heat training. I think that's one of the very small percentage gains that people could use if they want to gain more from their training. But I'm not doing any sort of heat training protocol. The sauna for me is just as well, like just to talk about the sauna afterwards. I just feel great when I get out of the sauna. The sauna like quietens my mind.
It's
You
nice,
know,
isn't it?
it's great. Like I always find when I get out of it, like physically I feel great and very relaxed physically, but I
Hmm.
also find like all that chatter in the mind, uh, just like quietens down. It's class.
I think there's
So
something about like because I know a lot of people will get a bit confused because there's obviously two types of sauna. You've got the traditional, the Finnish sauna where everything's like there's stones and it's a dry heat and you're in like a dark wooden box and it's like you said it's quite cozy and it's really easy to just kind of like zen out. Whereas some of the infrared saunas they almost feel like a little bit too manufactured and you're just in a big
no, this is
glass
a proper
box,
sauna.
right? Hmm.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like infrared saunas at all.
No.
Um, I just don't like them at all. If there was an infrared sauna, I probably wouldn't use it. I just don't find like it's hot enough. So proper sauna, and then after your workout, like also just a side note here, if I layered up and wore like layers to kind of get a heat training effect in the gym, it would be brutal because I'm coming off these elliptical sessions saturated in sweat. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
saturated. Like I look like I've just been out of the swimming pool. It's disgusting. So to wear like tracksuit bottoms or like leggings and tracksuit bottoms, you know, and layers up top and maybe a beanie hat wouldn't be a good idea. Like it really wouldn't. There's a pool of sweat
Mm.
already beneath the elliptical, so I wouldn't want to see what it would be like with layers. It wouldn't be good for anyone. Probably wouldn't be great for me either. So the gym is already pretty hot. I mean it's not super warm, but it's not air conditioned. Like it's not cool, and there's no moving air, so the sweat builds pretty quickly. And then just of course another side note, I do jump in the shower before I get in the sauna. You know, I don't just get straight into the sauna. Absolutely disgusting or stinking in sweat. So that was Tuesday, which actually ended up, like I said, pretty big training day. Over 2 hours of training on Tuesday, and that was just like I say, I must have been on a loose end on Tuesday evening. Kira must have been busy, and I mustn't have had any other plans, so I just was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go over to the gym. Again, these sessions, the 6 times 5 minutes on Sunday, the 3 by 10 minutes on Tuesday, they weren't planned. Like even when I jumped on the elliptical on Tuesday, it was just like I'm just going to get on here and do something. It's like I'm not actually going to plan it. I kind of just got on, started moving, kind of felt out where my body was. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm fine to do some aerobic threshold. I also don't think I could get on the elliptical and just do like 1 hour of easy cross training. I really don't feel like I could do that.
Mm.
I like breaking it up into some sort of work, do you know? Then Wednesday, I got up. I was feeling pretty tired on Wednesday, which is normal given what I did Tuesday. And headed back over to the gym and did 45 minutes of what I've just called easy cross training. So I jumped on the bike for 15 minutes. I jumped on the row for 5 minutes. I did 10 minutes elliptical, 10 minutes bike, and then 5 minutes elliptical to finish. So I just mixed it up. I just needed like a bit of recovery session, get some blood flowing, kept the heart rate super low, in like my zone 1, very low end zone 2. And then I jumped in the sauna, funny enough. Love the sauna, especially in the winter. Um, and then we had the social run with McKeever on Wednesday night, so that was great. Lovely turnout. Beautiful evening as well on Wednesday. We had an absolute cracker of an evening, sun-wise. That was Wednesday, like a recovery day. Thursday then, yesterday, I did 11 miles at 7:19 per mile pace, 1 hour 20 minutes of running. And that's been the week to date. So today is going to be very much a recovery day. Social run this morning, a little bit of pitch work with Frank at some stage today, and nothing else. And then tomorrow we'll just see what happens.
So you're going to wait till after your physio appointment to start planning out potential like more football related sessions because
Yeah,
I'm sure
so
that'll be solo as well as with Frank physio.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I am just going to jump in. I am going to get into training with the team as well. and sort of incorporate that gradually with the work that I'm going to do with Frank, because I'm kind of chomping at the bit now to get playing a bit of football. But yeah, I got to be careful having it, because yeah, the body's not going to like it very much. I did play a bit last week, and
With the
yeah, I
team?
can tell. Yeah,
That's a
and I can
brave move, son. Brave.
I can tell the body's not going to like it very much. So I could feel like, obviously the DOMS was serious, but I can actually feel like the tendons, ligaments in my feet and ankles, especially in my left foot, I could feel it like flaring up. So I just want to manage that properly. Like a tendon on the top of my foot, or a I'm not sure whether it's tendon or ligament on the top of my foot. Frank reckons it's like a little sprain on the top of my left foot, and that's just from like cutting and turning, So yeah, all of a sudden, like I'm not 16 anymore, and
all of a sudden, all it takes. We have a chat on last week's podcast about how he's into it. Yeah, give yourself time. Comes to training day, he thinks he's prime Pirlo and is doing like chops and is like maestro in midfield. I love it, and I do exactly the same. But I'm like, man, you got to be so careful.
I know,
So careful.
I know. So
did you play well though? More importantly,
yeah, not bad, not bad. I don't think I can be the judge of that.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you'd be critical of one's own performance, right? If you were like misplacing passes, or if you were kind of like pinging like 50-yarders, like, I don't know.
Not bad. I kind of want to take it one step at a time. I kind of want to get the body right before I start talking football too much, and get some time under my belt again. So I'm kind of reluctant to say too much in case I embarrass myself, and I'm like, yeah, I'm injured and I can't play until after
I've done
Christmas.
my ACL. Yeah.
Yeah, don't say that. Please.
No,
don't
I won't.
Say
Sorry, I'm touching wood. I'm touching wood. That's not going to happen.
But at the same time, like, that is a risk that I'm having to, like, I'm going to take. When you play sport, or you play any, if you play football, for example, like, that is a big risk. So I have to accept that risk, and it's very real, given like the, how many people do that type of injury. But yeah, it's good, mate. I actually trained more in the last 5-6 days than I expected to. Just off of like pure intuition and sort of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. But it's really nice, not feeling like I'm tied to any particular amount of mileage, to get fitter, to run a marathon. It's kind of a nice place to be in right now, and it feels good. So yeah, that's where things are.
Do you think enjoyment went up? Like, because again, we were talking about like, it's so important to be enjoying your training, and it's not about an end goal.
Do you remember we talked about that runner's high last week, and how that would probably come more often now? Like, that run on Tuesday, that 9-mile progression run, was runner's high.
Yeah, right.
Anyone that has done like an unplanned progression run will understand what I mean. When you go out with no set like agenda, and you start to or you feel good. Like, I remember we have these pitches behind the back of our house, and I went out onto those pitches, and I planned, like, I kind of did just plan to stay on those pitches and do maybe 30-40 minutes, but started running, and when your stride just feels really open and like bouncy, that's how I felt. So I was like, geez, I'm feeling great here. So I think I did 2 miles on the pitches, and then I was like, yeah, frig this. I'm going out onto the roads here. So these pitches link to so many different places in the town, and I can like nip into the park kind of through a little path. And I was like, yeah, I'm going out onto the road. So I went out onto the roads. There's actually a new school being built, or it's just finished. The kids and the teachers are just teaching staff are just about to move into the school. It's kind of my old school and the school that I taught in for a year when I finished my teaching degree. So I went for a nosy around one of the lanes that kind of links up where that school is. It was a bit of exploration as well. And I just, felt great, and like wasn't really looking at my watch or my pace, but could tell that I was just progressing and getting faster, and like finished pretty quickly, but still feeling really great. And when I stopped, I was like, geez, that's a runner's high there.
What'd you have on feet?
One of those. I had New Balance 1080s. I actually had a really old pair of shoes on, because I was again, because I only planned to run on the grass, I put the New Balance 1080, but like my old pair on that are beaten up, like they are really beaten up. So I had them on my feet. But I think it's when your body feels recovered and when everything feels like it's just bouncing, like you could have flipping plimsolls on your feet, mate. You just feel, everything just feels class. And
Crocs in speed mode.
just actually on, yeah, I always wear mine in comfort mode, mate.
Always.
But just a side note here on this, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but I have 2 pairs of New Balance 1080. Well, I've had a few pairs of New Balance 1080 over the last few years, but I currently have 2 pairs of the latest version, whatever it is. The first pair I've probably had for about a year, and the second pair maybe 6 months. But the second pair, so the newer pair, the fresher pair, never, and they're exactly the same size, exactly the same shoe, different color, but the second pair never felt as good as the first pair. Like, never felt as good. And like, even still, the first pair are much more worn. They still feel better on my feet. It's the weirdest thing. So I don't know if anyone else, if you have, let me know. If you've had like 2 pairs of shoes in the past and you've got like the second pair and they just haven't like lived up to the feeling of the first pair. So like, I'm really reluctant now to put on the more fresh pair because they just don't feel good. Like, they just don't feel right on my feet. They don't feel, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing.
I reckon that's a you thing or a colour thing, because the only pair I've had 2 of is I've got 2 pairs of, I've had 2 pairs of Alpha Flies, and I don't know if it's because it's a carbon shoe, it's different, and they both feel absolutely fantastic. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
So
well, I've had 2 pairs of Vaporflies and they've both felt fantastic. But yeah, these 2 pairs of 1080s, one feels like nimble and like my legs really want to turn over in them, and the others just feel like clunky. It's kind of strange.
Maybe a production quality.
Maybe I should look at them and see if they were made in different factories or if you can see that, because I remember listening to the boys in Inside Running a while back and they were talking about, I think it was the old Vaporfly 4%, and they were saying about how the foam differs slightly depending on the factory that it's manufactured in.
It makes sense.
Which was really interesting. Well, yeah, it does, mate, but you would think for a company like Nike there would be that consistency.
I reckon almost, no, I reckon less so, because there's less care about, because they're mass producing these shoes. So I think it's like, I don't know about, because I know Nike do a lot of stuff in Cambodia, but it never used to be like that. So who knows, maybe they've got like cheaper products or cheaper versions of materials in one place versus the next, potentially.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a really enjoyable run, and to get kind of moving as well in the New Balance, in a really old pair of New Balance 1080 was fun. Like, I might, if I feel recovered enough on a weekly basis, kind of throw in just that like steady run, which is so enjoyable. But then it's also lovely to just kind of not go out with a plan and just like follow the body's lead. Body kind of said to me it wanted to go that day, so I just let it go. So that was the week, mate. I have no idea how many miles or how many training hours that was. I don't know. But it's been pretty fun, pretty enjoyable. And I also feel, see those elliptical sessions, like, I reckon I'll get pretty fit off those. Like, sure. I really do. I could feel it, just you come off it and you're like, that's
done work.
That's some fitness in the bank. Sometimes, like, especially in marathon training, you finish a session and you're like, you don't know whether you're already so fatigued or so sort of beat up from the training that you've been doing. You're just like, have I put money in the bank, or have I just taken more out of myself? I suppose that is the beauty of doing like sessions on a track or a treadmill. You get that controlled environment, and it's more, you feel like you're being more productive almost because you're more efficient. I don't know, but like, I could tell, came off the back of those sessions and was really pleased with kind of the feeling. So I'm keen to get on the Arc Trainer as well. Do you remember we talked about the Arc Trainer?
Yeah, man. I've been trying to find one near me.
So we do, like, there's 3 in that gym, which is like, and they're never used either. I've been in the gym so many times and never seen anyone using the Arc Trainer. So I'm like praying that they don't take them out, because you know what gyms are like, if things aren't being used, they sell them. But if they were selling them cheap, I want my name on one, so I'm going to start using them, because they just don't get any use. I did hop on it and felt a bit weird the first, like last Sunday when I went in to do that first elliptical session. So I just jumped on the usual elliptical because it's right beside a window as well. So it's nice for just looking out around you. But I am going to maybe next week, sorry, coming in, get a session or two on the elliptical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, class,
Yeah.
man. And have you got much of a plan for next week, or are you just going to do what you've done this week and take it day by day?
No, mate, no plan. Day by day. So it'll be a fresh perspective and a new update next week when I hop on to chat with you.
I tell you what, I know it's less of the running, but it is damn interesting. For, like, even for me to hear what you've been doing, and I guess for a lot of people, because not everyone is able to run 6 times a week, 7 times a week, right? So being able to hear that, okay, you can still maintain fitness doing a little bit of this and a bit of that, and it's okay to kind of switch up with an elliptical. I think that's, like, even for me, that's quite interesting. Like, I love
Well,
to
do you know
hear
what,
it.
mate? Nothing in the last week has been a slog. Like, nothing has felt like I'm just getting miles for the sake of getting miles. Everything has felt, anything that I've done has felt kind of productive. So I can just feel a bit more energy coming through the body. And I guess the plan is to continue with that trend. And again, just to mention it, one of the reasons why I've probably made the decision to call the marathon is probably due to like a feeling of energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll continue to seek that feeling.
Yeah, beautiful, man. No, I love to.
And I'll probably get fitter for it.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Even if that fitness is slightly different, like it's still fitness, right? It's that feeling of, yeah, okay, I'm in a good place and I'm able to perform now. Maybe not to a marathon level, but yeah, fitness is very kind of multifactorial.
And I
Shall
kind
we
of want to.
say?
I was just saying this to Kira the other night. I kind of want to feel more athletic again. And
Mm.
Kira
Says
kind
a
of
marathon runner.
no, but I think you know what I mean. Do you know what I
I
mean?
know what
Like
you mean. Yeah,
for me,
dynamic.
it's very easy to become not athletic when you're a runner because all you do is run. You stiffen up. Your tendons become deconditioned to turning and twisting. I don't necessarily want to get like I have no wish really right now in my life to be necessarily like stronger or more muscular. Just it's not kind of what I enjoy. But to be more athletic, to move better. But Kira did. She looked at me funny. She was like, "What do you mean more athletic? Like you're exactly a marathoner." And like I kind of I explained it to her. You know, when I was training beforehand, before I started running, I was definitely more athletic than I am now. And what I mean is like I just had more range. I was able to do much more with my body. Maybe not like I couldn't do anything as well as I could run. You know, because all you work on then when you start running is you're running, but I was able to do a lot more stuff. So I guess that's a little bit of a goal is to just get my body into a more kind of athletic place again, and that's obviously going to be go hand in hand with hopefully playing football. Like I'll need to be more athletic, you know, jumping, turning, twisting, changing direction. All of those things are kind of what I consider to be more athletic. So I think also that will in the future facilitate being a better runner. Simple as that.
I was just thinking there about like how unathletic you can feel as a runner. And have you ever had it when you're in, so for anyone who hasn't worn carbon plated super shoes, they're not always the most stable of beasts. And you feel absolutely fantastic running in a straight line on a nice flat surface. But as soon as you have a sharp corner, nothing makes you feel less athletic because you basically slow down to a full stop and then have to, because you literally cannot take this corner it's like when you watch F1 cars and they get to like a hairpin or something and it's literally like going bombing down, stop, slowly turn around the corner and start again. So actually I kind of 100% know what you're talking about not feeling and that partly that is the shoes, but I think even still, like, yeah, as marathon runners we don't take
two things
hairpins very well.
I think you could look at, like, we'll talk about elite runners for a sec. I would say some elite runners, not all, some elite runners are two things. The least athletic, well, not of all people, but what I mean is, like, they
Of the
have one
high
skill.
end.
They have
Yeah.
one skill and it's running, and they're also
Yeah.
the laziest. And what I mean
Oh,
by that is,
bad.
like, outside of their running, they spend their time horizontal,
Horizontal,
because that
bro.
that facilitates their recovery for their running. But you ask some of those people to do anything other than run, it's like absolutely no chance. Similar to like a cyclist as well.
Mm.
Like they're
Cyclists
like
are
a
worse because they've got no
yeah,
elasticity, bro.
yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? But that's the crack, mate. Hopefully that's the training week and everything else that's been going on. Looking forward to social run this morning again, and just taking the weekend as it comes, mate. But what about you? How's your week been?
It's been a bit of an up and down week. I'd say overall good, and you'll hear no complaints from me today. You'll hear honesty, but no complaints. So it's pretty it's kind of set in stone that for the time being, like I won't be doing any hard runs. And I had a chat with physio at the end of last week. I might have mentioned, and basically I'm not allowed to go above 10Ks in a single run, and I'm not allowed to do any quality running as yet. And what I mean by that is it's all my running has to be easy, because I don't have any pain in the top of my foot at the moment because I deloaded it hard and the tendons in the top of my foot are okay, but I'm still getting heel discomfort. And yeah, like I've kind of taken a bit of a backward step with that, which I'll get onto in a sec. But yeah, basically my weekly structure isn't going to change for the moment, in that my Sunday is always going to be like probably an hour and a half to 2 hour session on the indoor bike, where I basically do a virtual group rides, and this is my biggest session of the week. So you're basically mimicking what you'd be doing in a normal group ride in like a small bunch, where you're kind of taking turns pulling at the front, like putting a bit more power out, and then there might be a few hills or kind of shorter or longer intervals. So that was Sunday. I ended up
Can I
doing.
just quickly ask you about
Mhm,
that, actually? Because I'm
mhm.
dead intrigued about this Wahoo kicker and everything else.
Talk to me, man.
Is that on Zwift? Sorry,
Haven't got
you're
set
not
up on
on.
Zwift, so I'm basically following a YouTube video structure, and I'm keeping my own pace and kind of effort levels based on what they're prescribing. So it's a little bit random. So for instance, they'll be like, okay, there'll be a timer, and they'll be like, okay, we want 5 out of 6 effort levels for the next kind of minute and a half, and then you'll get
Gotcha.
minute and a half recovery, and you'll do
Okay, so
that
it's kind of
like.
like being in a spin class where the instructor is kind of like telling
Mhm.
you, "Okay,
Yeah,
let's do this." So the machine, or sorry, the bike isn't actually adjusting the resistance for you. You're kind
not
of doing it based off what you're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, not on this one. And something that's actually really cool that I've played around with a little bit on the Wahoo is that I can set it so I can either use the gears which I'll use on my long run. I'll actually use gears, and I'll change the gears as I go to try and get to certain power levels. And if there's a climb, I'll match the percentage with what I can do on the bike. So if it's saying 6% on screen, I'll change the Wahoo to 6%, and I'll kind of up the gears to mimic that and try and put out kind of, I don't know, 4 to 5 watts per kilo for an instance, or whatever I can sustain
And is
for
that easy to
three
do whilst
minutes.
you're actually? Is that easy
hmm
to do, kind of on the
Very.
off the cuff, kind of just
Yep.
whilst you're there, mate?
Yeah.
I think you need to get on Zwift. I want to see
I
you use
will. All
Zwift
right.
in the next week. I think,
This
mate.
weekend,
I think you can get a free trial.
I can. I'm just lazy, bro. I will.
Mate,
This weekend,
I genuinely thought you would have been all over Zwift. Just knowing you and knowing your personality, I thought Zwift would have been like, you'd have been straight on it.
you know what I really do want to do on Swift as well is I've got a rough gauge of what my
FTP.
FTP is, but I do need to do. I could be way off, frankly, and I do need to do an actual FTP test, and they've got a really good one on Swift apparently, like a ramp test where you'll kind of go up through the power levels, and then it will take a
Yeah, mate,
percentage
and
to find it.
especially the fact that you have the bike, you have the
Uh,
Wahoo kicker, so like
all
your
right,
data is going to be accurate.
this
Uh,
weekend, hold me to it. I'm gonna sign up on
I would
Swift.
be all over that, mate.
All
Honestly,
right,
I would
done.
be all over that.
All right,
I
I'm
want to
putting it
see
on
you talk
camera.
about Swift next week.
Done. We're talking about Swift. All right, fine. But yeah,
I also think you'll enjoy those group rides so much more. I think that 90-minute group ride could turn into a 3-hour group ride very easily on Zwift.
don't, because I've got
Because
a
you're
family
just
and I can't neglect my. I will do it, but I don't want to.
you'll be entering races. You'll be coming on next week with a little the little cycling cap turned up.
I was actually tempted to, because today, I was. Like I said, I set up my trainer in the garage and I have it right at the front. So I'm basically outdoors and I've got like daylight around me. And sometimes I can see my reflection in my laptop screen. And I was like, man, my hair was kind of pissing me off, like in a weird way that when you're kind of enduring something, everything pisses you off, right? Even like the bib. And I was like, I should wear a hat because I'm sweating. I was like, maybe I should, because I've had one before. When I used to cycle properly, I was like, maybe I should buy like a cycling cap. I'm gonna get one, bro, because
Yeah, you
I
should, mate.
flip it up and
I
I've got a bead on.
you'd pull it. I think you'd pull it off. Yeah.
See, I think I would as well. I think Nicole would find me
I
like
think
at
you
least
just start wearing them. I think you should just start wearing them
daily.
day to day, mate. Yeah.
Done.
It's like
This
it's like
this time next
wearing a
week.
big label. How do you know someone does CrossFit?
Yeah, exactly.
They'll tell you.
They'll tell you, right?
Well, cycling's wearing a cap isn't the same, but it kind of is, isn't it? It's like
And
I'm a
shaving
cyclist.
your legs, man. I have to. Not that I didn't shave my legs before, but I'm definitely shaving my legs now. I'm shaving them
Yeah.
extra hard.
I haven't shaved mine for quite a while. Mine are well, I'm not the hairiest bloke in the world, but yeah, they're definitely pretty
Even
hairy compared to these.
footballers are pretty good at shaving their legs nowadays.
Sold.
Sold. Done.
Yeah. So talk me through the rest of your week then, mate.
Yeah, so that was a good Sunday ride. Had good fun on that. Even on, and just to flex a little bit, I was nearly pushing 5 watts per kilo on some of the climbs, and I was pretty proud of that. And then Monday I was back running, so I did 10K easy in, and I had a couple of like very short hills just to allow just enough quality, and this is all guided by the physio. So yeah, 10K mega easy. We're talking like 520 per K pace, and the runs feel fine. It's just my heels still not liking them particularly, and I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do more even if I wanted to, because I know something would flare up. So I did that, felt fine off of it, but not super comfortable. And then Tuesday, quality day, I jumped on the elliptical as well. So for these ones, I'm warming up on the treadmill. So I did about 2K on the treadmill to get my heart rate up and just to get some running volume in. And then I do 12 by 3 minutes, and it's quite a long session, but in terms of the total amount of quality, it's only like 36 minutes of quality, and I'm doing a minute float between reps, and I'm same as you. I'm trying to get my heart rate to around my my threshold and hold it there, and it's not particularly easy for me. I think it's because the elliptical I have is stuck on one speed, so I can't adjust the resistance. So I have to get warm beforehand, get the heart rate up, and then just do more of these reps to kind of gradually get my heart rate to around like the low 160s.
So you can't change the resistance on that elliptical?
Now it doesn't actually turn on, so I'm just using.
Oh man,
it's not great. It's not great, and the gym. Don't get me wrong. The gym I work at is fantastic, but we're renovating at the end of the year, so there's no point kind of buying new equipment now, because we don't know if it's kind of gonna fit, how it's gonna work. So they're basically waiting. But regardless, I'm the same as you at the moment. After that 12 by 3 minutes, and then a cool down on the treadmill, I'm feeling pretty good. Like I'm feeling like I've banked up some work, and I'm not coming out of it like completely fatigued in my legs, and that's and especially on the treadmill, the running does feel more comfortable. So that was quite an enjoyable session. And I smashed down TIFO football podcast on that one as well. That's quite nice.
That was the next question.
Yeah.
What content are you consuming whilst on the elliptical?
Always on that one is TIFO football podcast. That's the best podcast that
I have it downloaded, ready to listen to.
Please do, man. It's quality. It's so good.
I also tried to watch something on the elliptical the other day. You know how people would be like, when they're on the bike or the elliptical, they can watch like a show, I can't, mate. Even on
YouTube.
the elliptical, no, but even on the elliptical, when you're like, you are stationary, your body's not moving the way it would be on a treadmill, and like you would think, oh, it's pretty easy to watch something, and it is. Like I can watch it and I can listen to it, but I don't enjoy it. I can't like. I'd rather just listen to music or a
I need
podcast.
something to look at on the trip. I don't know. I found it kind of different because I'd never be able to do a run
I
and
think
watch
it's the
something.
looking at it that I don't enjoy. I actually think
Mm,
it's I can't like use the elliptical and watch. I don't know. When I'm doing those threshold reps in the elliptical, I can't watch something. I kind of just need to be in the zone. And even
interesting.
though like you're doing thresholds, so you're not like absolutely destroying yourself, you're still holding a pretty good effort. So
It's
I
high
kind of
pace.
just
Yeah.
like when I'm just focusing on it and I'm listening to the tunes, I don't know, it just I feel better. Whereas when I'm watching something, like I started watching something and I just had to switch it off straight away after
Mm.
like 2 minutes because I was like, yeah, I just can't do this. So I see people watching stuff on the treadmill and everything. It's like, what? I would say I could probably do it if I had a big screen. Like say I had like a home gym
Yeah.
or something,
It's
and you had
different on
like
the
a
phone.
treadmill with a big screen on the wall where like it's always that screen is always kind of in your periphery,
Hmm.
and you're kind of just like it's there, and you
Hmm.
don't have to kind of look down or whatever. So yeah, I almost lost my phone the other day as well. I left it on that day that I done that like recovery session where I jumped between the cross trainer and the bike and the row. I left my phone on the elliptical and I was sitting on the bike for like 5 minutes, which is the other side of the gym. That's a big gym. And I was sitting there and my music was on and I was like, where is my phone? Because my music
It
was
must be
still playing.
close.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I completely forgot about my phone. So maybe I need to get some wired earphones for whenever I'm sitting on, so I don't just leave the phone sitting somewhere. But then I went over and it was still on the elliptical that I'd been on.
Yeah.
Thankfully, no one had jumped on and lifted it. So that was almost a bit of a drama.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, yeah, that's Tifo Football Podcast is my go-to every because it's released on a Monday, sorry, a Sunday, no, Monday morning UK time, which ends up being Monday night. So it's there for me on a Tuesday, and that
I'm gonna
gets me
listen to it
through.
this week, mate.
But do it.
I've got it
You will not
downloaded. It's
regret.
ready to go, locked
I
and
think
loaded.
they actually released one yesterday for like an extra one, I believe. So yeah, that's there. Um, but then Wednesday. So typically Wednesday would be it would be a long run. So I'd go out and do 14K. But again, I'm only allowed to do 10. So I do 10, and don't get me wrong, I could probably just leave it there because I'm not training for anything. But I like to feel like I've done something for the day, and I should also caveat that Mondays and Wednesdays, in addition to these sessions, I'm also doing a gym session as well, whether it's kind of lower body Monday, and then I do upper body featuring a little bit of lower on Wednesday. So I'm doing quite a lot still, but then, yeah, I went out for 10K around lunchtime and I finished off with 20 minutes to half an hour easy on the elliptical. I can't remember how much, just to basically get the volume in. And I quite like that. Like, again, that run wasn't particularly comfortable because I don't know if it was the pair of shoes I'd maybe just worn because I'm wearing my Fuel Cell Rebels quite a lot, but they're properly worn in, and I think they don't give me much support on my heel. So the run was kind of getting a little bit uncomfortable, and then finishing off on the elliptical, it was almost like just complete relief. So that was quite a nice way. And I do actually enjoy watching a little YouTube video because running like podcasts do fine. But then I it's nice to be able to go onto YouTube afterwards and actually watch something because I don't actually get heaps of time to watch YouTube. Funnily enough, I've got a small child, so that's not something I do much of these days. So I enjoyed that, and then
Good.
Thursday that was literally just another same as Monday, basically 10K nice and easy. And this was the hot day, so this is where it got up to about 20 degrees and I was out in the Factor 50 and I was like, man, my heart rate is up because it's basically the first run I've done in that kind of heat in a little while. And even though I was running slow, talking like 5 minute to 5 minute 30 pace, kind of around there, depending on the level of incline, I could see my heart rate was climbing up quite quickly. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to get used to running in the heat again, but that was an okay run, and I switched back to the Cloud Eclipse for that one just to change up the footwear. And then today, just to finish the week, I was on the bike again. So this was a quality session. I basically mix it up with between like various length of intervals, and I find the longer intervals really tough. And so today I decided to do 15-minute sweet spot intervals because I'm like, I find these really hard. I'm going to go do it again. So I kind of spend 10 minutes warming up, and then I'll do 3 by 15 minutes at, I think it's about 80% of what I estimate my FTP to be.
Quick question.
Mm.
Do you see when you do those sweet spot intervals? And for people listening, sweet spot's kind of like threshold, right?
It's
low end threshold.
I think they do it as percentage of FTP.
Yeah, but the stimulus is similar to that.
Oh, sure.
Of a threshold session.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
just longer
what I would
duration
actually call
normally.
I'd sort of call it a sub-threshold session.
Yeah, sub-threshold, exactly that.
So when you do a sweet spot session, how do you measure the intensity? Is it watts per kilo?
Yeah, so basically this is what I was saying I was actually mentioning it earlier. I must have forgot to finish my story, but basically I can either change the intensity based on the gearing, or I can set it on my phone. So I've got Wahoo, that I've basically got my power meter up on my phone, and I can change the resistance to set it to a target power. So regardless of what I do, it's set to, let's say it's set to 190 watts. Regardless of how hard I push the pedals, it will keep me at 190 watts. So if I push harder, it will keep it.
The resistance will lessen.
It'll stay the same, basically.
Right, okay.
So I can choose if I want to. It's always 190. It's just whether I want to spin quicker or spin slower, but it will get harder, obviously.
Gotcha. So the question really actually is, so watts per kilo is watts, not watts per kilo, watts is the measurement of the intensity.
Correct.
If you're doing longer sweet spot intervals, do you reduce the wattage in comparison? So for example, if you're doing 12 by 3 minutes on the bike versus, let's say, 3 by 10 minutes, when you're doing the 3 by 10 minute session, would you push a slightly lower wattage than you would?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that sounds perfect. And similarly, like, it's a good lesson for people that are training when they do sessions and running. If you're doing a quote unquote threshold session and you want to improve your lactate threshold, like your running speed, well, of course, speed is just the proxy for intensity, but we'll use speed for now. When you do longer reps, should be slower. And I know that sounds really like basic, but I think so many runners, they believe their threshold is just a specific speed, as in like the speed they can hold for a 1 hour race. That's kind of not what threshold is. It's a metabolic state. And to reach that metabolic state, if you're doing a longer rep or a tempo run, for example, you got to run slower than what you do over, like, let's say, if you do 30 by 400 meters, for example, you can run a much faster speed and reach that metabolic state at faster paces than what you would if you were running 8 by 1K or 10 by 1K. You're going to run a little bit slower. So it's really important, I think, for anyone hopefully that's explained clearly enough. But the short sort of way to think about it is, if you're running longer intervals and you want to train your threshold, you got to run slower. If you're running shorter intervals and you want to train threshold, you can run faster. That's very intuitive, but I think lots of runners just try to hit a number for all their threshold work. And if you really actually understand threshold, that's not what you do.
And I mean, like, just relating it back to the bike, I think a lot of what I'm doing at the moment is intuitive because, again, I'm not going off an official FTP number. So I'm just kind of, I'm playing around, and I know that because I've done this session twice now and I've done a few other kind of interval sessions, I know roughly what I can maintain for 15 minutes 3 times. And I know what I can maintain, like, especially on these Sunday long rides. On some of the climbs, I'm putting out literally everything that I can put out. So I'm getting like a really good gauge of what my upper limit is, and I can see my heart rate as well. So I've got my heart rate up on from the chest strap, and it's like on these 15-minute intervals, it's not getting to the point where it's unsustainable like a shorter rep would be. So it's, let's say my for my threshold reps, if I'm doing a run, everything, it always seems to go between like 160 and 162 beats per minute. And it's like on these 15-minute reps, it's nowhere near that. It's closer to the kind of the 140s, because I know that's what
the
I can
key,
maintain.
isn't it? It's finding that sustainable effort. That's probably the best way to describe it for people that are just doing it on feeling and effort, is like, regardless of the length of the interval, find a sustainable intensity. And you'll probably be in the right spot to train the threshold well. Find a sustainable intensity and leave a couple of reps in the tank. Do you know?
Yeah, and
that's probably like...
I finished that last 15-minute one thinking, because again, this is now, I've done 45 minutes of work with 5-minute kind of cruises between. And I finished that third one going, I could, should I do another one because I can do another 15 minutes? Then in my head, I was like, no, I just don't need to do it. Like, there is a limit. And if I keep getting in my head that I need to best it each week, I'm going to fuck myself up real quick, because you're going to end up doing too much.
100%.
So I was
100%.
like, 45 minutes of work is fine, but it's good to know that I definitely could have done another 15-minute
I was exactly the same last Sunday on the elliptical when I did 6 times 5 minutes. I was like, I could do it here. And then I was like, nah, just call it.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
Jump in the sauna.
Yeah. I wish I could
do that.
Mate,
cool. It's a pretty different training week from us both. And
it is. And I know, sorry to cut you off. I'm aware that Adam does need to get to his social run.
I do, mate. We got to run.
Sorry, mate. Are you at past today? Is your run past start?
Yeah, but I gotta leave. The run starts at past.
All right.
I gotta leave. Probably gotta leave the house in the next 5. I gotta go check the Kira's up out of bed.
In that case, we won't kind of jump into the weekend too much. But guys, I think
football.
Yeah, we will be back with our normal football podcast this time next week. Maybe that'll be a side project for us. But
we're heading. Actually, had a gig tonight, so that should be good.
Even better. Look at that. There you go.
Yeah, that should be good fun.
Love it. It'll be football for me. So yeah. But look, guys, again, just want to thank everyone for liking, following, subscribing, and staying with us during this kind of time where it is a little bit less running. It's a bit eclectic in terms of the topic, but we're having fun recording, so I'm sure some of you are having fun listening.
We might just be finding, sorry to interrupt you again, we might just be finding our niche, offering a fresh perspective on running and life.
I think
because I've a few people sent me lovely messages this week just to say that they really enjoyed last week's episode, and that surprised me, because I remember when we were recording it, I was kind of all in my own head thinking, oh, this isn't the running content that we
same
promised.
Here.
So
yeah.
It's no bad thing just to sit here and have a chat. We're two blokes maybe offering a fresh perspective on things, and that, it's just we're not robots. So no, I think it's good, man.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. So guys, I think
I'll let you do the usual wrap up.
No, I was happy with that. No, look, well, I've enjoyed this is all I'll say. And again, just thank you for everyone. It's great that 200 of you are following us on Spotify. That's pretty incredible. So thank you all 200 of you. I think it's 201, even better. But yeah, look, guys, we'll be back. And as always, if you're running over the weekend, racing, good luck. Have a great training. I'm saying this like it's the weekend now, but it's Wednesday when we post this. So for next weekend, if you're racing, running, good luck. Otherwise, we will check in with you guys soon. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Take care.